Accent Topical. Nate here today with my top 10 least favorite movies that I saw in 2021. But before we get into that, scroll down to the description box below. You'll find links to our social media accounts. Give those a click, give us a follow. We also have links to our Coffee account and our Patreon account. If you are in a position and or would like to help our channel grow financially, it'd be greatly appreciated. So give those links a click. Plus you get some cool extra bonus stuff if you join the Patreon. If you don't want to do that, then subscribe because it's free. It doesn't cost you anything and you can still help us out. Let's get to the list. Again, these are just the top 10 worst movies that I watched. Didn't see every movie this year. So I'll admit, some of them are not awful. I just had to make a list based off of what I saw. So number 10 for me is going to be Free Guy. I did actually have a decent amount of fun with this movie, but it definitely lost me in places too. I personally am getting super burnout on Ryan Reynolds. I don't get it. I don't understand why we need him playing the exact same person in so many movies now. But that's what we're getting. I really enjoyed the premise of this film. Honestly, really, really liked it until the last third of the movie. When things got like a little too CGI-ish. Like big, like hunky CGI frat boy Ryan Reynolds. That was a terrible decision. Should have never done that. It ruined the movie for me. Number 9 for me is Boss Level. Again, I had a fair amount of fun with this movie. But at this point, people are just trying so hard to piggyback off of the Groundhog Day premise because there have been a fair amount of at least semi-successful movies that have used it. This one had some laughs, but it still falls flat in a lot of ways. Number 8 for me, probably the most controversial movie on my list. It's The Lost Daughter. This movie got nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars, and I don't understand why. It is about a woman who is a terrible mother and is also still a terrible adult. She, like, the point of the movie, I guess the point of the movie is that some people just don't change. Like, some people are just selfish. But I live in the real world. I was very aware of that fact already. So, yeah. It's a movie where you get some flashbacks of her being a shitty mom and a shitty wife. And then you get some present day stuff of her being a shitty person to some people she met at a beach who may or may not be mob connected. Number 7 for me is Army of the Dead. It's a generic action zombie heist movie. I mean, like, the idea of throwing a heist in the middle of a zombie apocalypse, it was a fun idea. About halfway through the movie, I realized that I had to backtrack like 10 minutes because I had just stopped caring and had to go rewatch to understand what was going on. And then it got to a certain point where I was like, oh my God, this movie feels like it's lasting forever. And then there's Batista trying to get to the homegirls in the building. So then I just like skipped forward the like 10-minute sequence of him climbing stairs and shooting zombies at the same time because it was just way too fucking long. And then by the end was like, I just don't care anymore. Number 6 for me, Gunpowder Milkshake. Kind of disappointing. I feel like there have been multiple films now where they're trying really, really hard to make like a female version of John Wick work. And I'm definitely not saying that it can't. But like, you're going to have to put some like effort into it because they're just relying too much on the whole assassin gimmick and not enough on like the character, which is what makes John Wick so compelling, is because of your interest in the character. So this is just way more style over substance in terms of it would be a really, really great movie if Homegirl's backstory had been written much better. And like, it's like they tried to take some of like Tarantino's style from Kill Bill, fuse it with some John Wick stuff, and it's just flat. It just didn't work. Number 5 for me is The Guilty, which makes me sad because I love Jake Gyllenhaal, but this movie is terrible. I am just getting really, really tired of the let's make a movie about a shitty cop premise. It's burnout. It's old news to me. I'm not to be clear, not defending shitty cops in any way, shape, or form, but we have enough of them in the real world. Like, I don't need movies about one, especially when you're just going to hint at the fact that he, like, pretty much knew he was going to get fired and go to jail for whatever he did, but you don't really tell us anything about that scenario. And also, like, after his second phone call with the girl, I had already figured out the plot twist. It was like, I know exactly what this is. And, like, that doesn't make me some sort of all-knowing God. I just picked up on it, and it just did not make the movie even remotely interesting to me at all. Number 4 for me was Concrete Cowboy. Really enjoyed the trailer. Wanted to love this movie so much, especially since it was pretty loosely based on a specific subculture that existed in the Detroit area about people who were literally raising horses in the middle of, like, not like a straight up in the middle of downtown, but like a very close to downtown part of a major city. I would, like, at this point, I just want to see a documentary on it because I'm so curious about the specific lifestyle that these people led. But the route they tried to take with the movie was just a very tired one. It's like, oh, we have a troubled kid. Let's go send him to live with a relative who lives some sort of different kind of lifestyle that's supposed to straighten him out. Oh, surprise, he's slipping back into his old ways a little bit, but now here's some big grandiose speech from the family member he had to go live with about life, and then all of a sudden he changes for the better. This movie could have been way more interesting than it was. Instead, they just recycled an age-old movie plot line and tried to make it interesting by using horses, and it just didn't work. Number 3 for me, Space Jam: A New Legacy. The movie's trash. I understand they made it for kids. They should not have made it for kids. They should have made it for people in their late 20s and early 30s because we were the ones that actually gave a shit about Space Jam. Number 2 for me was Bad Trip. I don't like Eric Andre. I don't like his comedy. I don't like these kind of let's do real world pranks but try to tie some sort of plot that's like fictional in with it type movies. Don't like it at all. And number 1, worst movie that I saw this year, it was a movie called Yes Day. It was on Netflix, and it was about parents who have a day where they just say yes to everything that their kids ask them, which is probably one of the most unhealthy and least helpful things that you could ever do as a parent, because you gotta have limits to that shit. And the movie did not have much heart at all, and it was kind of stupid. But let me know what you thought the worst movies that you watched were down in the comment section below. Scroll back up, hit the like button, and subscribe.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.